Good morning, everyone. Here are the outline of the topics that will be discussed as we go along with the webinar. First is the strategic leadership to be discussed by yours truly, Shala Amniel and Ms. Nicolila Racal. Second is challenges and determinants to successful strategy implementation to be reported by Jason Almogol and John Philip Almero. Next is implementing strategies, management, and operation issues to be discussed by Beverly Q. Laracas and Ariel Marquez. Lastly, implementing strategies, marketing, finance, accounting, R&D, and MIS issues to be reported by Maricel Arcolapano and Sharina Marciano. Again, I am Sharla M. Dial, one of your presenter on the first topic, the strategic leadership. So here are the study objective. So first is define strategic leadership. Second, know the role of top-level managers in strategic management and strategic leadership. Identify the types of managerial labor market. Understand the key strategic leadership action. And lastly, understand the McKinsey 7S strategy implementation framework. Before I start with the discussion of the first topic, let's first have a review of strategy implementation and strategy execution. So we often think that these two are the same. However, there is an acute difference between them. As organization evolve, they often change from reactive, where they respond to some unanticipated event only after it occurs, into proactive operational style, or they identify potential threats from various business events to reduce their likelihood of occurring. So it's at this point that an organization begins strategic planning, which leads to strategic implementation and execution. So strategic implementation is a key ingredient of modern business because once an organization creates a strategy to meet its goal, implementation is the next step for successful execution. Essentially, the implementation phase outlines how a company plans to achieve its goals, or it is a preparation and putting element of the strategy into place. So while execution is the decisions made and activities performed throughout the company with the objective of meeting goals outlined in the strategy. So, strategy implementation and strategy execution are closely related with each other. That is, strategy implementation means putting a fresh strategy into action, and strategy execution means carry out the ongoing pursuit of strategy and complete it. So, strategy execution starts when the strategy implementation ends. So, halimbawa sa larong basketball. So, ang implementation doon is kapag ang mga players ay pumesto na sa kanilang position as instructed by their coach. At once na magsimula na ang game, magde-decide na ang player kung kanino ipapasa, sino mag-shoot ng bola, sino dapat bantayan, doon na papasok yung execution. So before I will discuss the definition of strategic leadership, let's first define what is leadership. So a leadership is the ability to influence a group toward the achievement of goals. So in business context, this can mean directing workers and colleagues with a strategy to meet the company's need. So strategic leadership refers to a manager's ability to express a strategic vision for the organization or a subset of the organization, as well as to motivate and persuade others to share that vision. So strategic leadership can also be defined as the use of strategy in employee management. It is the ability to persuade organizational members and implement organizational change. Strategic leaders establish organizational structure, allocate resources, and articulate strategic vision. They work in an ambiguous environment on extremely difficult issues that are influenced by external events and organization. So the main objective of strategic leadership is strategic productivity. Another aim of strategic leadership is to develop an environment in which employees forecast the organization's need in context of their own job. Strategic leaders encourage the employees in an organization to follow their own ideas. They make greater use of reward and incentive system for encouraging productive and quality employees to show much better performance for their organization. Functional strategic leadership is about inventiveness, perception, and planning to assist an individuals in realizing his objective and goals. Uh, Strategic leadership is also tackles or portrays a leader's ability to visualize, plan, lead, and make the best out of the resources they have to execute strategies efficiently and successfully. So strategic leaders mirror their strategic plan to their strategic management. Their organization respect their leader's role and overall vision while working to bring that vision to life. Productivity and management mindset play major roles. How leaders think equals how they lead. So a strategic mindset reflects strategic agility, which is the ability to see how the big pictures relate to the here and now. Following are the five components of strategic leadership. So the first one is the high level cognitive activity. So thinking at a cognitively high level or thinking strategically requires high level cognitive skills such as the ability to think conceptually, absorb and make sense of a multitude of trends and condense this information into a straightforward plan of action. So emphasizing the cognitive ability of the leader help emphasize that the leader plays a major role in strategy formulation. The leader must think through what makes the organization distinct and define its purpose. Typically, the purpose comes from intuition rather than extensive analysis. As one moves up the hierarchy, more problem solving ability and imagination are required to handle the task environment effectively. Creative problem solving is also important because the strategic leader has to develop the alternative courses of action for shaping the organization. Second is gathering multiple input, which is a strategy formulation is democratic. So gathering multiple inputs from many sources. So many strategic leaders arrive at their ideas for the organization's future by consulting with a wide range of parties with an interest similar to the process of conducting research to create a vision. So gathering multiple inputs has the added benefits of building morale. Next is anticipating and creating a future. So setting the direction towards the future. So a major component of leadership is direction setting, which involves anticipating and sometimes creating the future for the enterprise or organizational unit. So to set a direction is also to tell the organization what it should be doing to set a productive direction for the future. The leader must accurately forecast or anticipate the future. A truly visionary leader anticipates a future that many people do not think will come to pass. Creating the future has also been conceptualized as reinventing an industry. Next is revolutionary thinking. So, adopting a revolutionary or contrarian outlook is to be an industry leader, a company's leader must think in revolutionary terms. Any strategy that does not challenge the status quo should not even be considered a strategy. Incremental changes can also move an organization forward. Need to check if the strategy of the past fits the times even when it is successful. So for strategic leadership to be revolutionary, it may well need to redefine product and services, market space, and even the entire industry. A variation of choosing to be different is to engage in contrarian thinking in which the leaders reject conventional wisdom. So ultimately, creating a vision are an integral part of strategic leadership. A careful, considered, and articulated vision help us know who we are and who we are not. In companies that believe strongly in vision and strategic goals, all activities throughout the company are supposed to support the vision and goals. So, the role of top level managers. It is very essential to understand the strategic role of top level management in any organization. In today's business environment, every organization is working strategically, immaterial of the size, length, and breadth of the organization. Doing things strategically becomes a basic element for any organization in that case. Top management consists of the top level executives who takes the whole responsibility of the organization. The top level management design, formulate, and formulates various policies and strategies for the effectiveness of the organization. It also defines the mission, vision, goals, and objective of the organization, which frames the direction of operation to the enterprise. It includes highest ranking executives like CEO, CFO, VP, COO, President, and others. So the top level managers play a critical role in strategy formulation and implementation. They are charged to make certain their firm is able to effectively formulate and implement strategies. Their strategic decision influence how an organization is designed and how goals are achieved. Top managers also develop structures, culture, reward system, and policies. So there are several factors that determine the amount of managers' decision-making discretion, including external environment sources, and that includes industry structure, rate of market growth, number and types of competitors, nature and degree of political or legal constraint, and degree to which product can be differentiated, and characteristic of the organization such as size, age, culture, availability of resources, and patterns of interaction among employees. And lastly, the characteristic of the manager that includes tolerance for ambiguity, commitment to the firm and its desired strategic outcomes, interpersonal skills, aspiration level, and degree of self-confidence. Management succession. So, management succession is a critical factor in the future viability of every business, since it is the plan or process by which new internal leaders are identified and developed to replace existing leaders who will be transitioning out of their current responsibility because of retirement, disability, termination, or death. So the choice of executive is critical decision with important implication for the firm's performance and the ability to embrace change in today's competitive landscape. That is why companies engage in succession planning or the business strategy that company uses to pass leadership roles down to another employee or group of employees. Since it ensures that business continue to run smoothly and without interruption after important people move on to new opportunities. It is also a good way for companies to ensure that businesses or business area are fully prepared to promote and advance all employees, not just those who are at the management or executive level. Types of managerial labor market. So, a labor market, also known as the job market, refers to the supply of demand for labor, in which employees provide the supply and employers provide the demand. So, it is a major component of any economy, and it is intricately linked to markets for capital goods and services. So, there are two types of managerial labor market. The first one is the internal managerial labor market, which is the opportunities for managerial position to be filled from within the firm. So, hiring internal candidates can be more efficient than recruiting externally because the first one is that it can reduce time to hire. So when recruiting externally, hiring teams find candidates either through sourcing or job posting, evaluate them, and if it all goes well, persuade them to join their company. So all of which takes time. Conversely, internal candidates are already part of the workplace. So the time that the company need to find and engage those candidates is much less. It's also easier to assess internal candidates because their track record is easily accessible and they may not always need full interviews with managers. For example, if they are moving within their department, so the department head already knows the candidates. So all this reduces the time spent on each hiring stage and the overall time to hire. Second is that it strengthens the employee engagement. So promoting from within send a message that the company value the employees and want to invest in them. So giving employees more opportunities to advance their careers or even letting them move to other same level position that may interest them is good for morale. So employees who change roles, develop professionally and others know they may have similar opportunities in the future. So this helps to build a culture of trust that enhances employees' engagement and retention. Next is that it costs less. So, research has shown that external hiring may cost 1.7 times more than internal hiring. So, this is because when hiring from within, you usually don't need to post ads on job boards, subscribe to resume databases, pay for background checks, and others. And lastly, it shortened onboarding times. So everyone needs some time to adjust to a new role. But internal hires are quicker to onboard than external hires. This is because they know how the company operates and most of the policies and practices. They are familiar with people in their new theme, especially in smaller businesses, and they may already know the content and context of their new roles if they move within the same team or to a similar one. For example, a sales associate becoming a category manager. The second one is the external managerial labor market, which is opportunities for managerial position to be filled by candidates from outside the firm. So the common benefits of it is that the first one is selecting more candidate. So when you look outside your own company, you can explore a much larger pool of candidates for your position. So this can increase your chances of finding a qualified and successful applicant. So having more potential hires can allow you or allow your company to be more selective and find candidates which with the right education and experience for the job. Second is adding fresh perspective. So bringing in outside hires can add a new perspective to the organization. A new viewpoint can help identify areas of improvement and make recommendation. So new employees approach the company differently than those who already work there. And this can lead to positive changes in their department and in the company. Third is enhancing diversity. So external recruitment can help increase diversity in the organization. Incorporating a variety of perspective can lead to innovation and more effective practices. Creating a diverse workforce in the organization and giving a platform to a range of voices help promote inclusion and empowerment. And lastly is staying competitive. So new employees can bring in ideas and strategies from their previous experience that can help improve the organization's practices. They can provide insight from other companies or industries that can apply to the company. Keeping up with current trends can keep the company competitive. Okay, that's the end of my report. Ms. Nicola Raquel will continue the topic. Thank you for listening.